Beloved Creator, we pray today for unity. Today we pray for Ubuntu. There is a simple story told of a man who proposed a game to some children of an African tribe. A basket was put before a tree, and the children were told that whoever reached the tree first would win the basket and all of its contents. Rather than competing, the children all took one another's hand and ran together. While sitting and all enjoying the fruits, the children were asked why they ran like that. Their response was, Ubuntu. How can one be happy if all the others are sad? This philosophy is, I am because we are. In our culture at this time, we speak the I am. Let us instead speak the I am because we are, so that we may all choose to enjoy the fruits of our God-given gifts. In that oneness, we all win. Let it be so, and so it is.
Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure.
Don't you love serendipity? My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I love, I love serendipity. Uh, Words. We have to dredge up what's inculcated in our bodies that's wrong, which is almost everything. Like the flag behind me is a national ensign from when I was in the Navy. Everybody thinks it's their flag. It's not. It's the military's flag. So a fringe around it and becomes the executive's flag. But what I want to talk to you about, we and us. The way the language is made up, you say, we are going together. We are the student body. We are, or we the people. There's another way of looking at that, and that's all of us. Not just us, but all of us. The general public, the population, the common law. I don't hurt you, you don't hurt me, you don't break my stuff, I don't break your stuff. And everybody's armed, and everybody takes care of themselves and their family, and we take care of business, and we don't need somebody between us and who we need to contract with. It's all of us, from sea to shining sea. And then you have to say, well, what about going north and south? The Americans. Isn't that all of us too? Isn't this hemisphere pretty much in it together? I thought so. I've been to South America, married to a South American, got a daughter from South America. They're Americans. But they have a different mindset. There's a different mindset in the tropics. That's just how it is. And there's a different mindset up along the North Pole and down around the South Pole. So you have to look at it not so much as Americans, but United Statesans, United Statesers, gringos, but it's all of us, not just we. We the people is the self-aggrandizing people to become persons when they get to Washington. They become we the people of the United States. The United States is Washington, District of Columbia. That's who they become we to. All of them. Ron Paul beats the drum, waves a flag, does all the stuff. Bright guy, personable, doesn't get jack shit done. Just talks, doesn't move the goalposts, doesn't move the chains, doesn't do anything that I could ever see. And us has to be taken care of, and it hasn't been taken care of. And we have to start. And I think we have to do that by forming a Congress assembled, just like in the old days. Get your group together and come to Philadelphia, and we'll sort this shit out. We'll get back to original jurisdiction. All of us, not just we, but all of us. The we are in Washington, District of Columbia. And why in the hell is it made like a star? And most of it is Masonic lore. And why is that? And Columbia is a goddess of at least semi-evil or something, not good. So, Oregon, Charlie knows this stuff. I lose it. There's a mother nature or a spirit daughter. Um, if not a goddess, close to it, of the forest and of the land, Indian culture, not sure. But all of us have to do this. You can't do it by yourself. You can't do it alone. You can only do it for yourself. But you got to be shoulder to shoulder with whoever it is you're working with on both sides. That doesn't mean all the time, because lots of the time it's just me driving in the car, laying in the bed, sitting in the chair, hoeing the crops. But we have to get to a point where the correct things are inculcated into us again. I got a real big dose of it. What's right and what's wrong. I wish the hell I could figure out how to motivate all of us. I can barely motivate me. And all of us have to figure out how we can get this done. We're using Skype. I don't care what you use. We can communicate across the gaps, but you have to tell the truth every time. Regardless of what you did in the past, from now on, you have to tell the truth and do your best, or stay at home and somebody else will come and nobody can take your place. You're just left out. You're not one of us because you're sitting at home, one of them. Representative form of government. Do you want to present yourself or be represented? Depends upon the situation, just like the chicken and the egg. But the point is, understand that when you say we the people, you're placing yourself in the position of one of those in the, with the small t, United States, not of America, of Washington District of Columbia, the 10-mile square that isn't a 10-mile square because Virginia got their piece back. That place. That is the creation of the states. We are not subdivisions of that. Please look us up at www.orsja.org. We are the only known and acquiesced to and defaulted to by the executive branch of the state of Oregon, aka state of Oregon, the color of law, de facto government that folds every time you touch them, that outfit. 89 out of 90 of the legislators, criminals convicted, and the entire judiciary done away with. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court retired or resigned. Martha couldn't go against Charlie. So we, the people of the United States of Washington, District of Columbia, are the hired servants of the general public, not of an individual person. They're not servants. They're in service, but they're not servants. It's a different bag. I was watching on YouTube, and there was a guy that talked so slow and so monotone and took large pauses. And I thought, that guy's terrible. Why is he doing that? Because he's called to do it. And I find myself in the same place. I stop talking and start thinking or not thinking. www.orsja.org. We are the only Article 3 civilian court of record. The only place constitutionally where a man can find remedy against the state. No other court. That court. Read it. It's there. Not rocket science. That court's the only place where you and I can find remedy against the state. They hide that court really well. We know exactly where it is, and we have one. That court goes with another court whose jury verdict has no appeal in law. And we're talking law, we're not talking equity. So, all of us need to get together and do this. They've had their experiment in Washington, District of Columbia, Inc., United States, that outfit. How many wars, famines, killing leaders of other countries, all that kind of good stuff that the CIA and the FBI do. Not right. Needs to be corrected. this year, 2023, in Philadelphia, everything is still there waiting for us. So we go and do it. That's where original jurisdiction is. And I yield. My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is my dog, Creamy. Say hi, Creamy. She wants to be a lap dog. 40-pound standard poodle wants to be a lap dog, and she can. This is about the friend of my friend may not be my friend, and the enemy of my enemy may not be my friend either. And that's just the truth. You have to make those decisions for yourself. You can't say that all of this fits together. When you look at the uh, coalition of the alphabet, the LGBTQT, whatever, they don't fit together. They are only acting together against us. That's the only commonality. As soon as us is not in the way, then the infighting between them will commence. That's just how it is. It's been that way forever. Everybody is against the king that is against the king, but when the king is gone, then they have new enemies. We're not operating that way. We're operating on the basis of who you are and who we are and where we're going and what we're going away from. On Oregon, we're going away from the unconstitutional form of government that has been coming to us for 30 some years on Oregon, building it up little by little. As I didn't wake up from the illness of cognitive dissonance until 2014, it took me from 9/11 till 2014 to cure myself. But I did, almost. I still fail all the time, and I delight in it because then I get to correct myself and move on. And it's not hard, it's relatively easy. The people around me say, Ron, that was wrong. Correct that. And I look at it hard. And I don't want to be wrong. And sometimes I resist. But usually I see the error of my ways when it's pointed out and I correct it. I'd like people to see some of the things that are going on, and they don't want to see them. They want it to be different than it is. You can't be just a little bit evil. You can be wrong, you can be bad. But if you support evil, you are evil. Then we have to define evil, just like we have to define all the other words we use. Actions and words, deeds that you do make you evil. That's it. You can say all of the excellent things, have the best comportment, do everything really well, like DeSantis down in Florida. He does really well. He goes right along, doing all court, and then he shows his true colors. He's not who he says he is. That's a facade. Then you take a look at the senator from Texas, Ted Cruz. He's a Canadian. He'd like to be an American that's constitutionally correct and able to run for president or vice president, but he's not. It's just not the way it is. He can't change it. Arnold wanted to be able to. He can't. He's not. But Cruz tries to slide under. Well, why not? 44 did, so I can slide under too. No. People look at Robert Kennedy Jr. and they say, because he is against vaccines and has been for a really long time, that doesn't mean he's our friend. It just means he's against vaccines. And so are we. But you can if you want, probably shouldn't, ought not, would be better if you didn't go too far down the path with the bar attorney. They belong to a group that is against our best interests. That's who they are. And a lot of them know it. But they're into the de facto clear up to their neck, and that's who they are. They may be with us on a point here and there, but they are not us. They are foreign agents, registered or unregistered. Doesn't make much difference. That's who they are. When you look at somebody and you say, well, they must be nice because they're against my enemy. Yeah, but that doesn't make them our friend. Here's the deal. The Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly, we do our very best not to lie, cheat, or steal. And when we make a mistake, we correct it and move on. Others, when they make a mistake, do the same thing. Some, when they make a mistake, double down and try to muscle it through. That's not the way to go, folks. It really isn't. So, there's my point. The enemy of my enemy and the friend of my friend. You have to look at them for yourself. And I yield. My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. May I have a discussion about Article 3, the one Supreme Court claiming original jurisdiction, where a man can find remedy against the state constitutionally? Have you ever attempted to locate that court? Mukini 303 declares any court whose name begins with the United States is not an Article 3 court. That's all of them that the de facto has to offer. There is the United States of America styled in the Confederation and Perpetual Union's articles. Their Constitution created the United States of Washington District of Columbia, a management service government unincorporated entity with 23 enumerated responsibilities. It has been usurped by martial law Libre Code FEMA, a color of law de facto incorporated governance, illegal or illegitimate, bankrupt U.S. Inc. in some form since March 1861, except on Oregon. There are two legal and lawful names. the United States of America and the United States. Any other iteration, such as United States of America, is fraud or deception or ignorance. In any case, not true. The last lawful iteration was 1859, when Oregon became one of the several states in our union. All previous iterations are artifacts, just as it was designed. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.